Have you ever wondered who Daniel Brenner is? Is he Starburst, the host of FOL? Is he Danny Days, the popular musician? Or is he just an average kid that's in high school and recording this in his dorm room? All these answers and more will be answered in the following. Hello, once again, audience. My name is Daniel Brenner, and today I've decided to tell you my story. The whole shebang. You see, my story, I've only been alive for 21 years. I'm 21 at the age, if you didn't pick that up. And I guess I've lived an interesting life compared to most people my age. You see, it all started like any of you. I was born in Miami Valley Hospital in Dayton, Ohio at exactly 3 a.m. or 3:30. I can't really remember because I was just born. But I'm guessing my mother loved to be woke up at 3:30 in the morning having to deliver a baby, which I didn't come out the regular way. I was born by C-section. So pretty much I came into this world already flipping the rules, I guess. So after I was born, I was brought home by my lovely family and introduced to my siblings. I have one brother and one sister, a mother and a father. You see, most of my 3 years was spent like any other kid. I went to school, I hung out with my folks, but I guess about the time I was 4 years old, things kind of changed. I was diagnosed with ALL leukemia, which caused me to lose my hair, and I was given pretty much a 25% chance that I was going to make it. I was told I would never be able to see my graduation date and that there was a high probability that I probably wouldn't last that long. Well, surprisingly, I'm here today recording this. Now, I want to get something kind of straight. I don't really know if I can, give my 2 cents about the topic, but don't get me wrong, surviving leukemia or cancer of any kind is great, but people kind of get this wrong idea that you beat cancer. You don't beat cancer, you survive it. And with survival, it's not like you come out 100%, whether it's emotional, physical, or spiritual trauma. It really affects you, your family, in a big way. And it'll be something that you'll have to live with for the rest of your life. So, during my first year, when I was 4 years old, I was sent to Children's of Dayton Hospital, where I spent a pretty good majority of my fourth year of life in the hospital, in a bed, and I was confined to. I was given an IV with fluids and had to take more pills than I could count, with names that a 4-year-old should probably couldn't even pronounce. But luckily, I managed to beat the first year, and I moved on with my life. I started going back to school, which was fun. I got to see all my friends, and life kind of equaled out, I guess. It wasn't until my second grade year where I relapsed, which means my cancer had come back, and this time it was in my bone marrow. which means I needed a very, very risky procedure called a bone marrow transplant. It wasn't risky as in, like, it was dangerous. Like, it wasn't surgery or nothing. But, it was, it was another, basically, they would take somebody else's bone marrow and put it into me and hope that it would fix it. But there's always the chance of graft versus host disease, which means that when you take a foreign object and place it into a person's body, and this doesn't just count for bone marrow or nothing. It can be like an organ or like a skin graft. The foreign object is detected by the body and it either accepts it or attacks it. Which, in my case, if I had gotten it attacked, I probably wouldn't be here right now. So, during my second year, I had to go to the Children's of Columbus. I had to move away from my family, and me and my dad stayed about another year in the hospital where I was put in basically an isolation room because my immune system was very low. Basically, I was immunocompromised. And that was my life for pretty much a year. That was back in 2003 where I had my bone marrow transplant. I still remember that day. I wear a necklace. If anyone's ever seen me wear that silver necklace around my neck, it has my thing engraved in it, bone marrow transplant 1103. And yeah, it was a thing. But luckily, we got the bone marrow and everything turned out great. I never got to meet the person that saved my life, my donor anyway. I know that she's from the Netherlands, but I never got to meet her. I'm kind of sad about that. I never got to thank her. So, here I am, 9 years old, and life's again back to normal. Going back to school again. And, like, I mean, I've survived cancer twice, the same leukemia, just in different forms. And yeah. So, life continued up until, my, probably 6th grade year. It seems life likes to deal me a bad hand. I know most people say that, and, like, some people have it worse than me, but I don't know. This is the best thing I can think of while I'm recording this in my dorm room. And, yeah. I found out that my dad, who had been with me for a lot of the different treatments, much like my mom, he was diagnosed with melanoma. It was kind of hard. He was my hero, and I watched him. It puts in perspective, like when you watch somebody, because cancer is a nasty, nasty thing. It eats you from the inside out. You're a prisoner in your own body. To put it in perspective. And I mean, chemo works, but it basically kills your cells. So it kills the cancer cells, but also kills like some of your good cells. And that's why you become immunocompromised. But my dad, I always had like this hope that maybe things would turn out okay. But they didn't. They tried all these different procedures, some even more than what I had went through. And I it was like every day my dad was becoming more and more like weaker and not like himself. And it was hard. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, Sorry, I didn't mean for this to get depressing, but I figured this is kind of helping me deal with everything. Um, but yeah, sadly, my dad passed away in 2008. He would have been probably in his 50s by now, and seeing me in college and probably being proud, but he's not here to share that with us today. It took a while for me to get over my dad's passing. I kind of didn't go to school, and I just felt like, I don't know. I questioned a lot, like, because it really hit on my like religion. My dad was the leader of the worship team. He he did. I've heard that he's done stuff in the past that I know he probably is not proud of, but I mean, he tried to make up for it. And the way I saw him, he was the most kindest and gentlest soul you've ever met. Will always put a smile on your face. But but no, he was struck with this disease for no good reason. No one should have to see that person they love go through this. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Oh, sorry, I'm getting kind of emotional here. Let's move on. So, like I said, it took me a while. I mean, I moved on, and after my dad left, it was just me and my mom. And for the first time in my life, I didn't really know what to do with myself. I always looked to my dad for guidance, and he was always like the one in charge and telling me what to do. But for the first time, it was up to me, I guess. I didn't really know who I wanted to be as a person, let alone a man or woman. This is my story. Yeah. But yeah. So I was lost for a long time, and I always felt like my cancer. I tried to hide the fact that I had cancer, mainly because it always brought up bad memories, especially with my dad passing away. But I mean, I felt lost. It wasn't until like recently, with the help of what I've been doing in college, it really helped me reconnect with that part of my life, and it's made me feel whole again. And yeah, but there's been a lot of support from both my family. I shouldn't really say that I was the only one affected. My mom lost her husband. My brother and sister lost their dad. And my grandparents lost a son. And that, not to mention all the other family, like my uncle lost a brother. But yeah, it really hit us hard. I felt like there was a big shift in the family dynamic. Things seemed awkward for a long time between the two sides of the family. Uh, I don't know. So I moved on to high school and pretty much kind of faded back in the background. I had finally reached my goal of becoming normal, I guess. Like, because for the longest time, I felt like I was treated differently because people knew I had cancer. I felt like there was this big shadow that I could never outgrow. But yeah, I finally reached a sense of normal, and like my biggest problem now is paying bills and uh, trying to figure out the wonders of the world. Um, but I guess it wasn't all fun and games. Uh, I guess it wasn't until about my this year of college where cancer decided to rear its ugly head again. I had lost a friend that I knew that was in the hospital with me. He had gotten out that his cancer had miraculously disappeared, and we thought he was cured, but then he sadly relapsed, and uh, we he passed away. So I had lost a friend, I had lost a dad, and just recently I had lost my both my great uncle and my grandfather. I lost my uncle on my mother's side due to lung cancer, and I had lost my grandfather to pancreatic cancer. Um, I guess, like I've said, life's kind of dealt me a bad hand, but I I take it in strife. I use these experiences to help myself learn. And that's kind of what I want to do with my life. Um, I didn't really get to say goodbye to my great uncle, but I got to say goodbye to my grandfather. Again, I got to see a person that I cared about deeply slowly watch um slowly watch hit just like wither away. I guess it was this time it was a lot easier because I mean, going through my treatments, I was very young, so I didn't really grasp the situation or like get to see myself like wither because it just became normal for me. But watching my dad and my grandfather, it put into perspective like the gravity of the situation. We lost my grandfather around Christmas, and I don't really know how I feel about it. Maybe I'm making this just so I can accept it. I haven't really thought about it much. Maybe because I didn't want to accept it. But yeah. Um, shoot. I'm getting all emotional here. But yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's my story, I guess. But I guess it doesn't end here. I want in my life, I want to become a spokesperson for uh, kids like me to give them something to look forward to. I don't know if this sounds pretentious or not, but it's what I want to do. So That's my life, and I'm sticking to it. But I want to give them something to look forward to. I want to become a music producer. I want to help kids with their creativity. And I want to become the man that my father and grandfather saw. And I want to make them proud. I'm a freshman right now in Ohio University studying music production. Recording this for class, it's supposed to be like 5 to 12 minutes, but we're going on 20. But when you have a life like mine, I guess 20 minutes, you can't really fit that into 12 minutes. But it hasn't been all bad. I've had many of friends and family members that have helped me, and we've helped each other deal with this mass curtain that's been thrown over our lives. And it really helps me when I help other people who haven't gone through similar situations but have had trouble in their life. I help them and use my experiences to help pick each other back up. So, yep, that's my story. Sorry if it's kind of dull, but I've been pretty much post-transplant for about 20 years, I think. Back in 2003. So yeah. Well, I guess I'm bad at math, so. But I want to leave on this note. Life, things are much harder here. But I don't know what people believe or what you believe, but if there is an afterworld, I'm sure it'll probably be better than this one. But then again, maybe life on Earth could be heaven if we just give it a try. And to end on that, if the elevator tries to break you down, go crazy and punch a higher floor. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.